IVM.
Helping us pay our bills this week is Setu IMAX. For more information, go to setu.in. This show is brought to you by IVM Podcasts. At IVM, we strive to get you the best podcasts every week, week in and week out. This has been a great week on IVM. We're launching a new show on the 21st of May, hosted by Veda. It's called Who's Your Mommy? And it's all about motherhood. I think you guys are really going to enjoy that. Also, check out Cyrus Says. He had Tanvi Mehra this week as a guest. Tanvi basically is a yoga instructor, and she makes Cyrus do yoga in the studio. That's quite fun. Also, make sure you catch Simplified this week. Chuck, Naren, and Shrikhet talk about how Facebook is targeting you. And, well, given the news these days, I'm sure that's something that's of interest to everybody. On Paisa Vaisa this week, Anupam talks to Kaustav Belapurkar. He's the director of fund research at Morningstar, and it's a really interesting episode that gets into the ins and outs of mutual funds. Please definitely do check that out. So, guys, we also have a great new Hindi show called Pulyabazi. This last Thursday, we released an episode around the Indian-Afghanistan relationship over the years, and it's really interesting. The show is hosted by Pranay and Saurabh, both of whom are part of the Takshashila Institute, and I think that we're very glad to have them as part of the IVM family. And guys, just as a reminder, please follow us on social media as IVM Podcast. Please do reach out. We would love to hear from you. Also, wherever you're listening to this podcast, please see if you can give us a rating over there, or if you can give us a review over there, whether that's Apple Podcasts, or whether that's CastBox, or wherever you're listening to your podcast, or the IVM app for that matter. It's a really good app. You should check it out. And now let me get you onto your show. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 54 of Shunya 1. We have a very interesting conversation with Ashish Tulsian around the integration of tech in restaurants, how data-driven products work, and basically what is or how backends and enterprises function. It's a really interesting conversation. Fortunately, I wasn't able to make it for that, but Shilati and Ashish have a great conversation around those topics. This week on Slack, we had some activity. Ketan was particularly active on Slack for us this week. So Ketan first gave us a comment on the episode with Satya, and I love the episode with Satyam. He is so articulate and clear with what he wants to do. Looking forward to Cube, which was great to hear. But he had another really interesting comment in the discussions topic room in the Slack channel, where he was talking about how in a lot of episodes it's been discussed how we are a part of the subscription economy. I came across this deck by Zuara some time back, and it has been hailed as one of the best sales decks ever. Some of you may have seen it before, but if not, it's a really good starting point to understanding how we came into the subscription economy. This actually is a really good link, and I'd really highly suggest that people take a look at it. See, this is what you get when you subscribe to the Slack channel. You meet all kinds of interesting people who talk about all kinds of interesting things. Anyway, before we get to the conversation with Sheila and Ashish, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Setu IMAX. So as somebody who listens to Shunya 1, you're probably extremely tech-savvy. As a tech-savvy person, you probably look at screens all day. As somebody who looks at screens all day, your eyes are probably aching right now. If the eyes are aching right now, you probably want to check out our new sponsor, Setu IMAX. Setu IMAX is a modern health supplement which ensures your eyes stay protected as you enjoy all that screen time without any kind of strain to your eyes whatsoever. You can check out their website, www.setu.in, to buy IMAX. And guess what? You can get a 50% discount if you use the promo code SETU50. Also, you got a really cool contest going on for them. What we'd like you to do is share a screenshot of what you're watching on your phone right now, whether it's your Instagram feed or your favorite YouTube channel or anything else, and upload it to your stories using IMAX as an hashtag. That's EYEMAX, IMAX. Make sure you tag Setu India and get a chance to win a TV binging kit from us. Your eyes are precious. Protect them.
Hey, welcome to Shunya 1. Today we are here with Ashish Tulsian, the CEO and founder of Posist. Welcome to the show, Ashish.
Thank you.
Finally, good to have you spend some time when you're in your quick Bombay trip. But it's good to have you here and grab a few hours between all of your busy life of taking over the city.
Yes.
While you are the only one in food tech who's doing real tech, is it?
We are not food tech. we are tech.
If Amit was here today, I think we would have had a big laugh about this because it's a recurring theme on our show for all the people who are listening.
Yeah.
But finally, we have someone who is real tech in the food business.
Absolutely we are.
So over to you to introduce what you guys do. And of course, before this, you have been a real food entrepreneur.
Yes.
I think. So why don't you tell us the story from there?
So I think I jumped into this business by chance. I actually did not jump into it. I fell into it. And like most of the people in this world, they think owning a restaurant is the coolest thing they can do. And I used to also think that. I used to think that restaurant is probably the the best stuff. Somebody else is cooking the food, somebody else is serving. I'd never see the owners in the restaurants, and somebody's really making money. Mom was always giving this math that dal makhani you're eating for $300. Actually, it's 30 rupees. so math was great, and I think a coffee table conversation with a friend who was trying to open a franchise for McDonald's and Subway and KFC. I gave him some gyan. I said, why don't you open your own? And that way you will learn and blah and blah. And I gave him all the gyan. And then he gave me my gyan back. And he said, sure, let me do that. Why don't you invest? Will you be a partner? So I have to respect myself. And I jumped into it. We got a consultant, opened the restaurant. Consultant took all the dirty jobs, in the sense, he got the restaurant done, interiors, machinery, equipment. He got the labor. He got the all the employees and the vendors and everything. And we thought, wow, this is a great business. What is wrong with this? And first month was great. We didn't know how to cook the food, but we knew how to, what to eat. So our taste buds, were definitely in place. We were foodies. So I think we did one thing right, is we set the menu right. We knew what taste people, will like. And that worked, but everything else was a nightmare, because once the first month of honeymoon was over, consultant was out because consultant was stealing money from us.
What?
Yes, so that's the interesting hard truth of this industry. And we kicked him out, and everything fell on us. And we ended up realizing that, as soon as the honeymoon was over, there was a lot of dirt behind the scenes, right? So every restaurant owner, when you see, them roaming around in their restaurant on a busy day, and you wonder, what is wrong with this man? Why is he not partying out? And why is he not, he's the owner of such a cool place. I think there's a lot of dirt behind that coolness. I think he deals with a lot of heat at the back. So we fell into it because as soon as we took that challenge that we are going to run this, we thought our technical background, our instincts kicked in, and we thought, okay, let's find a tech product, let's find a software for this. And I think I should actually narrate an experience for the tech side. I used to run a telecom company before, and after doing BTech, when I started a software company, I always used to hear this from my relatives, friends, people who were not from the software side. They used to say, yeah, you guys are cool. You make software once and you sell it in a CD for life. That kind of notion. And I used to wonder, who is spreading this kind of rumor? And why do they think about, why do they even think like that? Because I never knew life like that. So when I actually started looking for software for my own restaurant, I found those people. Oh. There were people who wrote their last line of code like 5-7 years back, and the CD or the pen drive was still alive, and they were minting money and whatever that money was, but they were not really giving any two hoots about
customer support.
Customer support is a separate thing, but I think no updation,
no customizations.
They were not doing anything in the technology. They were not innovating. They were not continuously upgrading the application. There was no R&D cost for that company, I could imagine, and that surprised us. So we ended up building a product for our own restaurant. And that's how we fell into this, because once that product started working for our own restaurant, we started enjoying the process. We started solving all little problems on the floor, with this product. I remember I pulled out 2, engineers from my then telecom company, and I said, hey, we need to make this small, piece for our restaurant, and it'll take, let's say, 45 days. Mm-hmm. And then you're back to your team. And the amazing thing is that it's been 6 years. Those engineers never went back. They're still there with us. They're still building out, the restaurant tech. So I think for us, the wow moment was when we started solving our own problems, and other restaurant owners discovered it from our restaurant, and we started getting inquiries that, can we have this product? And we said no, because we were already troubled with the restaurant. We were running, a telecom company, and we were like, we're not interested in starting a third one for sure. Right. So anyway, I think universe conspired, and we ended up selling our telecom business off, in a quick decision. And we were very clear that restaurant is not going to be the thing we want to scale. We were already 1.5 years into the restaurant. Product was 7-8 months old. We called all those restaurant owners back, and we said, all right, we'll serve you, but on a condition. This is a product, and you can't tell us how you want to run it. And I could say that because I was a restaurant owner, right? And I think that's a point about SMB products or products which serve traditional industries, that most of the techies who build products for the traditional space, they have never run that business themselves.
Yeah.
So they don't have the eligibility to, challenge the status quo, right? So they generally will go to a business owner and they will say that, hey, I can make a product for your operations. But he just computerizes the manual process, right? He does not have, he also builds in the inefficiency of his manual process into, the digital way.
Right.
I think we could eliminate that. We could challenge restaurant owners. We could tell them that, hey, you know what, we are not going to give you this feature because you don't need to do this at all. This is wrong. This is stupid.
Right.
And I should say that till date, now it's rare, but even till till 2 years back, we used to fight at least with 1 or 2 cases every week, wherein somebody in the restaurant will put his foot down to get a feature which he thinks is a feature and which he thinks is a part of the process, wherein we were always putting our foot down and saying that this is not even required. You don't need it. You are doing this because your software guy, to ease his own process because of his laziness, gave you, a jugaad.
Mm-hmm.
And now you think that jugaad is a feature. It's not. Now I think we have gone past that. I think I'm sure these kind of objections don't reach me now, probably. So we fell into this. We sold off our restaurant. We started Possessed back in January 2012. So completed 6 years.
Wow.
And I think in these 6 years, we now serve 5,000 plus restaurants across India, 90 cities, but 80% of them are in all metros: Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad. And then sub 300 plus clients outside India, which is Dubai, Singapore, Thailand, and Mexico.
Wow, that's quite a story. And also, congrats on the 6 years, man. It's been amazing.
Thanks.
And while you mentioned the fact about how you found those people who sell software and don't have to write a single line of code, you are actually not that. You are a SaaS platform.
We are a SaaS platform. Absolutely.
So you actually do keep upgrading the product and you make people pay a subscription for using it.
We I think not only keep updating the product. I think as a tech product company, I would rather say we keep on rewriting our entire application again and again. I think in last 6 years we have rewritten our entire application from scratch 3 times.
Wow.
And the reason is not features. I think one of the biggest learnings we have in last 6 years is that products are not features.
Mm-hmm.
Products are about their architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Because your learning will always be limited. For example, when we started, my learning was limited to a quick service restaurant or probably a casual dining small restaurant. I never knew how a chain works because I never ran a chain. Mm-hmm. And no matter how smart or how great the architecture was, there was always a limitation, whenever we were, posed with new problems from the customers who were progressive. And we kept on building. I mean, the curse of technology is that you can always build something and it works. So we kept on building that. And there was a point when we realized, okay, while the product is good, we are doing well with that, there is a limit to it. And the limitation is in the architecture. We will get stuck somewhere. And I think we should fix it today while it's peacetime, while the things are going fine. And I think this philosophy paid off very, very well. I remember our first rewrite was we were extremely nervous. We are still nervous if we try to do the fourth one.
Right.
But we were really nervous because that was the first time we were rewriting. There was no logic behind it, apart from our understanding that we'll get stuck somewhere as we scale. But I think that is the biggest power we have today. And I think I can now relate to, how we hear that Airbnb, has rewritten their entire application 4 times. Facebook keeps rewriting a lot of parts of their product.
Right.
I think it's about the architecture. So we do keep upgrading features. I think as far as features are concerned, we release almost 100 line items, 100 points every month in a 15-day cycle.
And that means the sector demands that.
Sector demands that. I think given that we are extremely focused on F&B industry, so we don't do anything outside food. We don't do retail. We don't do anything else. We do F&B of all types. So from sweet shop and bakery to fine dine, restaurant bars, casual dine, QSRs, all types,
right.
and all sizes in that. So I think these kind of rapid feature development comes from two reasons. One is that, of course, industry demands it. Second is because we are sacrificing, going horizontal and catering to just everyone. I think the only option we have is to ensure we make deeper features, we go deeper into the industry, we build things which people are not, probably people don't know they want.
Yeah.
And we go deeper into their use cases and figure out what is it that they need. Can we make it as configurable and as versatile as possible?
Right.
So I think most of these releases are around that.
And this is, with my personal experience with the F&B industry, and that side of the table, right, the tech side of it, knowingly, I know that this is a sea change in the way tech has been run in the F&B space, because those same people you met 6 years ago who were selling CDs were the ones who were not updating their software, and they were selling it lump sum and saying take it one time, pay, and then use it forever in that archaic manner. This is you've basically changed all these behaviors of restaurant owners over these
Absolutely.
years.
I think not only us, I think it's the entire market. If I really slice our journey in of last 6 years, and this is something which we were doing a couple of days back with our team, it's not entirely I cannot take the credit for this change entirely. I think first 2 years we were really educating people about why they should buy a cloud-based POS, why an online product, why a browser-based product. And that's why most of our customers were new restaurant owners. Honestly, we hardly did replacements in first 2 years. Next 2 years, were very interesting, wherein we started replacing a little bit. People started progressing a little. Last 2 years, I think it accelerated because of people like Zomato, Swiggy, Foodpanda, people, in hyper-local logistics, people, because of the payment ecosystem. Suddenly, the restaurant owners realized that penetration of technology in their life is inevitable. They can't really stop it because their customer is using all of that. And they need to interact with it. Their business needs to interact with it, no matter what. It
became a need, basically.
Absolute need, and it hit them very, very hard. And I think it's really amazing how up till 4 years, or let's say 3 years back, we were trying to make people understand difference between a software or probably a that hardware machine where there's no screen. They just it's like a calculator,
old school point of sale.
Yeah, it's called cash register, right? So it's like a large calculator, right? We're still trying to make people understand how is this different, and how is the software different, and how is the cloud-based software different. And it's funny how today an average restaurant owner talks about integrations and APIs. I am not kidding.
Really?
I'm not kidding. I have an inquiry from Raipur where a person is writing on our website. He's leaving an inquiry on our page saying, hey, I'm running a sweet shop in Raipur and I am looking for a product which can run on Mac. And do you have APIs, and can you integrate with a couple of payment systems?
Wow.
And I have no idea how and why. But point is that this is now a regular thing. I'm sure people don't know what is the full form of API. But I think this entire what you called food tech, however I may hate it, hate that word, but I think the fact is that restaurant owners got educated. They realized that, okay, we are dealing with 3 logistics players, 2 payment systems, 5 couponing companies, 3 ordering companies, and then we have our own restaurant and we have our delivery orders on call. All of this should talk to each other, and they understood that, okay, integration happens. And the glue is called API. So
that's what they that's what they know.
Yeah. So so that has happened, right? Yeah. I think that has so a large part of business is coming from there. Because and then we got, of course, not only early mover advantage, but given we had a steeper learning curve and we were ahead in the curve, so we are probably getting that benefit.
Right. And at the center of all of this tech behind the scenes in the restaurant is what you've built with POSist, right? Yes. So it's the centerpiece of all the billing and it ties everything together.
Yes. So what we do is I think nobody else wanted to do that. I at times wonder that we had less competition because nobody wanted to do this.
They all thought there's no point rewriting all of this old story, is it?
No, I think it was not sexy enough. I think B2C is sexy. We are cleaning back of the house. I think I'll give you an example. A lot of people who still did B2B for the restaurant space, they still ended up doing, let's say, a tablet menu because it is still customer friend ending. We see a lot of people looking at loyalty programs as the primary thing, which they later realize that it doesn't work in the food.
Yes, I only know too well.
Yes, exactly. So I think a lot of people still look at B2B, but they want to, do things which are more closer to the consumer. Because probably they think it's easier to sell to a restaurant owner because they can go to the restaurant owner and tell them, hey, I'm building this for you, but your customer is going to use it and it's going to bring him delight.
Yeah.
I think what we are doing is cleaning the back of the house. So, from the front end billing to their kitchen management. So we do kitchen display systems. We have clients wherein we not only tell people how, quick their waiters are, we also tell them how quick their chefs are. So for example, we have a kitchen display system and it's so comprehensive that we capture data points at a level. I remember this customer. It's a British chain, and they have their SOPs that pizza should go, in the kitchen and it should be accepted right away. And 3 minutes, it should be in the oven. 5 minutes, it should be on the plate. 6 minutes, you should cut it. 7th minute, waiter should pick it up. Right. Now, making all these SOPs and training their staff, and they were thinking, why are they still not able to meet all the timelines and everything? And we told them, what? When your order goes to the chef's screen, he accepts after 2 minutes. So all your SOPs are actually going down the drain because the guy is not accepting the order in time. A waiter who's supposed to get the food to the table right away is probably picking it after 5 minutes. So your 7 minutes per order is gone. If there are 5 orders on this table, 35 minutes of worth of time is gone. And if you could churn 3 tables in 3 hours, you're not only churning 2 tables in 3 hours. So that hits your top line. And they were blown away with these kind of data points. I think so we do that, and then we go further up to stock, inventory control, recipes, logistics, wastage, pilferage, to CRM, marketing, feedback, online ordering, mobile ordering. So it's a full stack which a single restaurant or a chain requires. So wow. I think nobody else probably wanted to get into so much trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, all the points you mentioned are the things which actually restaurant owners used to take advantage of, not having systems in place for, which also I've heard stories about. But yes. I'm going to take a quick break, come back and talk a little more about all these things.
Hi, I'm Amit Verma, the host of the weekly podcast, The Seen and the Unseen. In my show, I examine the seen effects and the unintended consequences of public policy and private action. I show how policies meant to help the poor often end up hurting the poor. I've done episodes so far on demonetization, GST, surgical strikes, immigration and MRP. And I will continue my forensic assault on the truth in the weeks to come.
Catch the show every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you prefer. Or visit seenunseen.in for all the latest updates.
Hey, welcome back, guys. So we've been talking to Ashish about all the cool and real tech that goes on behind the scenes when you are having your food. Whether it's home delivered to you via your favorite app or whether it's in the restaurant. So just to continue on one of those points, right? The reason why so much what you guys do at Postist and the fact that you're always evolving and continuously adding so much stuff and going deeper into the back of house restaurant tech is because all these years, maybe like software is eating the world, as this phrase goes, right? So this is literally software eating the world so that people can eat.
Yeah.
So a lot of restaurants used to be very averse to tech before this. I understand now they need it because of competition and so on, but they also used to be averse because the restaurant business, and especially in India, right, where you started and now you're expanding across the globe. In India, this restaurant business used to be like a cool thing to start. The first thing you said today is because a lot of people thought this is a way to make a quick buck. And make a quick buck, also maybe make a quick buck which goes under the radar of the taxman and a whole bunch of other things.
Get married.
And get married, is it?
That's true.
You should tell that story then.
Yeah.
So what do you know about what people did restaurants for and how they've had to change and had to adopt and what they can't do anymore.
See, I think the point which you are focusing on is why restaurant owners were averse to tech, right? I think the first and foremost reason was tax.
Right.
I think every CA, even as I said, till a couple of years back, used to strongly advise people to not to have an online, first not to have a point of sale at all.
No bills.
No bills. And no bills which are trackable. Second, definitely not have cloud-based POS because everything will go online
Data
and you won't be able to you won't be able to delete your bills and everything will track back to you. I think tax was a major reason.
Right. And this is major. When you're talking about percentage-wise of restaurants in the country, it's a large enough percentage.
Large enough percentage. I think I think I should stop there without. I don't want to harm my business. But I think what shifted is that last couple of years there's a transition in previous generation. And we are still in that transition, right? An average restaurant owner's age, I don't know if there is a survey like that or not, somebody should do that. But it'll be very, very interesting to see how in last 5 years this has shifted. I've seen this shifting. So I think, most of our early clients were those people who, especially older restaurants where we did the replacement, wherein the second generation or the third generation of the business joined in the business. And this 24-year-old or 26-year-old joined in. And first thing he did is replace Papa with POS. So, and that is where we saw a lot of fights as well. We actually saw son buying our software and the day of the implementation, Papa putting his foot down and saying, I'm not going to let this happen.
Wow.
I'm sitting at the counter. Nothing moves without my permission. Everything is in order. It's perfect. I know every penny. What will software do? And I think in some cases we actually sided with Papa because we did not really want to fight. And we told the guy that, dude, don't push this. I think your dad is correct because if he is ready to spend 12 hours on the counter, believe me, you don't need any software on this earth. Nobody is more intelligent than him. Right. I think that's one. But I think what shifted is that in this generation, nobody wants to stop at one restaurant. Nobody wants to sit at their own restaurant. Everybody wants to run 10 businesses. Everybody wants to make a chain. Everybody wants to expand.
Be more efficient, basically.
I think they just want to expand. They are progressive, right? And I think efficiency, they have to be efficient. I think it's more like that. They don't want to be efficient as the first thought. As a country, culturally, we still don't care about efficiency. Right. But I think when we talk about, progressing, certain things, we have to question back. So I think that has shifted. That has changed. So for example, we have seen, some of the biggest tax thieves, amongst our customers who shifted, who actually started paying massive tax in the last couple of years because they realized that they can only do, tax theft, with one outlet or two restaurants. But if they want to open 20 and 30 and 50, things will go out of their hands and they better get the house in order. So that is one. That is one shift. Second is, of course, as I said, the technology has become a need. So now I have also seen people, saying that, okay, I will still do the tax theft. But the fact that I still need to get orders from Swiggy, Zomato, I need to still get payments from Paytm and, I still have to automatically route orders to Runner and everywhere. I need a POS. That is clear. So now he's telling his CA that, hey, shut up. We need a POS for sure. Now you figure out how can we have an online POS and yet
do tax theft.
so I think it's a compulsion of a different order altogether.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So the mindset has not changed, but yes, the need is actually compelling.
Yeah. So the point you mentioned, right? Apart from the average age, where the younger generation of entrepreneur in restaurants maybe wants to be a lot more progressive and more ambitious, right, to expand. The point is that yes, the other stuff aligned with a restaurant, especially payments. I'm sure the fact that money is moving electronically means that accounting also has to move electronically.
Sure.
And similarly, what other things do you, apart from the POS, which is obviously the core, right? What about the other allied stuff around it, which you've seen also sort of change? And what do you think that is? What's the role of the consumer's behavior and expectation change when it comes to a restaurateur changing?
I think consumers are only pushing restaurant owners into believing that they need to use technology. And when I say that, I don't really mean technology which we do, right? So a consumer may not be directly pushing restaurant owners to, let's say, use the back of the house tech. But I think it's all indirectly connected. For example, consumers are definitely pushing restaurant owners to check Zomato for reviews because they are anyway doing it. They are pushing restaurant owners to check Google for reviews and Facebook for reviews because they are talking about it. And for restaurant owners, it becomes extremely important now to figure out who's this consumer. What bill number did he, consume this for? Yeah. What is his mobile number? What is his identification?
Are they real or just a social media influence?
Exactly, right. Can I get his? For example, I remember a couple of years back when we were building a feedback management product, we asked a lot of our existing customers that will you use that? And they said, yeah, okay. How much for the POS? And we realized, okay, he's saying that I don't really care about feedback, right? But today we can see a shift, although it's not really. I mean, they're still not able to implement it that well, but we can see a shift where people are saying, okay, if this guy has to rant about, what happened with him at our restaurant, he better does that on our platform rather than a public platform, and damage control is going to be much more costly.
Right.
So I think consumers are definitely shifting, that sort of behavior. I think another thing is that because consumer behavior has also shifted. For example, a restaurant owner today wants to create his own website and wants to receive orders from there. You can see bills printed with coupons as you were talking about, right? 20% off if you order from our website, right? Because they've understood that if a Zomato or a Swiggy will, while they are giving them great business and they don't want to lose out on that business as a partner, but Zomato and Swiggy are still not sharing the customer data.
Right. They control the customer.
They control the customer, and restaurant owners really did not care about it, let's say 2 years back, but they're increasingly caring about it. They now are understanding that, okay, we are still in the captivity, and if I encourage my customer to order and leave his footprint somewhere, in my restaurant, I think probably I can control this, right? So they are offering the percentage which they may pay to Zomato or Swiggy, they are offering more discount to their customer, to change his behavior to order from their app. Another thing is that now as soon as people realize that, okay, I need to catch this customer's footprint, I need to catch his mobile number, suddenly table reservation tablet becomes, one of the touch points.
Right.
Suddenly a feedback management becomes a touch point. Suddenly the loyalty program becomes relevant, right? And because now he wants to understand how to take his number. But the idea of taking the number is just to ensure that I can be the master of my own destiny, probably in future.
Right.
So, and I think people are still graduating. So what I'm telling you is still in the transition.
Right.
Restaurant owners truly have not yet matured on what to do with the data. They're still learning the ropes of marketing and how to engage with the audience, and I'm sure it's still another year or two to go before I can really say that restaurant owners have become really smart on that.
Right. And also, of course, since you mentioned the word data, right, there's definitely a lot more data which is generating in the back of house, and there's a lot more intelligence related to that data, which I'm sure your product is building upon. How do you compare with the rest of the world now that you're obviously expanding outside of India, where the rest of the world probably did not have these hang-ups, or did it? Do you think the rest of the world also cared so much about tax evasion, the restaurateurs all over?
Not really. I think one thing I should say, and I think I'm really ashamed of that, or maybe I'm not, I don't really care. But the fact that whenever we find somebody outside country, especially in the West or from the West, making an inquiry about, can I still do theft using your product? Turns out an Indian on the other side.
Oh, no.
Yes. So we have experienced that almost in every country. Whenever there is a guy who is asking about how to do theft while using a cloud-based product, there's always an Indian on the other side.
He's moved from here, or he...
Yeah, so he's definitely
he
moved.
Ties.
You can take you can take Indian out of India, but you can't take India out of Indian.
Right.
So I think something, but I think interestingly, rest of the world also is struggling with technology, especially in the restaurant space, and it is an eye opener. Believe me, you name the country, and I can tell you how primitive their technology is with respect to restaurants. And I think the reasons are different. But largely the space has been, I think it is, I can just declare that this space is unsexy, I think. And I think it has been unsexy. It's unsexy not only for India, it's unsexy for the world.
Right.
So because that's the only reason why, let's say in Singapore, the largest POS company, Singapore is like 7,000 restaurants, and a company which boasts of having 4,000 of those. Can you believe they still have a Fox Pro based system?
What?
No kidding.
Who maintains it for them?
I have no idea. Actually, that was the question I asked them, that where do you get developers from? Do you make them? Do you clone them? Do they still exist? Do you have dinosaurs coding for you? But I think the fact that Singapore has that, it's unbelievable, right? It's mimicking the first world quite successfully, in every aspect. So I think that is because restaurants are traditional in nature. I think at the end of the day, for a restaurant, the most important thing is the chef or the food. That is their product. And technology is just an enabler. Right. And given that most of the legacy systems who are running the back of the house, they did not change themselves. Everywhere we see disconnected products. So when I say that Singapore, a top restaurant must be running a Fox Pro based system, I don't really mean that this guy is not using a tablet based ordering.
Right.
He's using all those products, but all of them, work in isolation. They don't really talk to each other, and they're just trying to make some sense out of this entire thing. I think for us, the opportunity there is very, very large. And I think that opportunity is not about POS. For example, most of the world doesn't know that today for POSist, POS is only 10% of my offering. My entire product is 90% much bigger than the POS itself. And just imagine they're still running a Fox Pro based system when there are 12 cloud based POS companies in Singapore.
Oh, okay.
Right? But because all these companies are still operating at the periphery, at the top, they're enabling the billing. What beyond that, right? So I think one shift which we have also seen is that as restaurant owners try to progress, they want extreme level of control on their raw material, their inventory, their pilferages. And that again cannot be only done through archaic old systems, which were pretty successful at what they were doing. So I think for POSist, what we are doing is we are actually using data and building products which are successful, which are completely data-driven products. I can give you an example. We have world's first anti-theft system. You go to all these restaurants and you see those placards which say if you don't get the bill, your bill is free.
Right.
And you think about it, right? You see these placards at PVRs and Subways and McDonald's and a lot of top chains. If you understand the gravity of that statement, right? There is a brand which is declaring, hey, my guy on the other side is not reliable.
Yeah.
As a customer, can you be vigilant on my behalf, right?
Yeah.
So it is such a norm in the industry. I mean, imagine if I was the cashier, I would not want to stand behind such a card.
Yeah,
right? But he is also okay standing there because he also understands that theft is normal. Now, people have been looking at theft as a cure approach, that theft is going to happen. People are resigned to that. They audit their bills later on. They figure out, they deploy F&B controllers who basically come and audit each and every bill and figure out, what was the theft. We built a system which matches patterns continuously, and we can tell you real time which waiter or which cashier did what kind of theft in what bill of how much. And and this system, we have been able to save some tons of money for restaurants, and that's where we are able to charge on the ROI as well. So we are not, and this is not a cheap product. So this is a product which actually makes the most money, for us as a company, because it gives the most ROI to the restaurant.
Right.
We are talking about, when people are talking about what you call table reservation systems, right? You go to the restaurant, you see all these tablets at times, right? If you see those are dumb tablets. Those are just digital registers. He's just taking your mobile number, name, and number of people, and that's all. He's not doing anything.
Right.
On top of it, we built a queue management system, which is like your Google. You get ETA, we give you ETS, expected time to seat.
Yeah. Wow.
And this is based on the intelligence inside the restaurant. So if you say that, hey, this is my number, Shila, that there are 2 people, system will actually tell you 19 minutes waiting for you, and I come with 4 people, it says 38 minutes for you, and it is also continuously getting updated.
Right.
And it is based on which table inside is at what course.
Oh.
Right. So if 4 people start with drinks, this table is 2 hours. If they start with main course, it's 45 minutes. If 2 people start with whatever, this table is not going to go beyond 1 hour. If there are 8 people, no matter what they start with, it's 1.5 hours at least.
Wow.
Right. So and it keeps updating, based on, and it is very, very specific to the restaurant. right? So for each restaurant, the type of food and the type of service and speed of service, this will vary.
Right.
So now this is a massive value for the restaurant. I mean, it hits your top line immediately, and that's where, while somebody will sell their table reservation system tablet for 1,000 rupees a month or 2,000 rupees a month SaaS, we charge a sum which if I tell you right now here, a lot of people would want to build this tomorrow. So
yeah.
So I think we are still working on a lot of data-driven products which can impact restaurants immediately, and which can give them ROI from the same data which they're collecting.
Yeah, which they always had. It's just that they never put it in perspective.
And it was also not there in people, as I said, all the systems were not talking to each other. So this data never made sense. They had all the things which were capturing this data, but in isolation with each other. So
right. So before we wrap up, what's your forecast for how to continue to be in this unsexy business, and from a technology standpoint, obviously data driven you've already mentioned, but what's next here? Like where is the most progress happening in your line of work?
I think I wish I knew the answer for that. I'll be able to predict actual, not imaginary, but the real unicorn. But I think for us, mid to large enterprise customers are the most progressive ones. The stakes are high. The bottom of the market, which is standalone restaurants, is still a little away from graduating. Mom and pop stores are still away from graduating to that use case. And what we have realized, I think that technology is not for poor people. Mm-hmm. You should not sell technology to poor. Right. You should sell technology to people who have less time and who will pay you for the arbitrage on time. So I think automatically it brings us to help probably large chains getting larger, right. Mid-sized chains getting much larger. I'll name a few customers. For example, Belgian waffle, you can see everywhere, I hope, right?
Yeah, I ordered too much from them.
Okay, that's interesting, right? So they started with us 18 months back from 3 outlets, and they are 150 right now. There's a chain called Drunken Monkey. Again, smoothie, milkshakes. I don't know why they call it Drunken Monkey, but it's a deceive. I mean, the name is deceptive. But I think they went from 2 outlets to 40 outlets, and it's a large format stores. And there are a lot of chains which wherein we can see that we were instrumental in getting their back of the house in order, not only at the single outlet level, but let's say at the enterprise level, at the franchising level. So I think for us, the next big thing is how can we bring order to the enterprise backend. And globally, we are only competing with Oracle, Microsoft, and NCR, because nobody ever did large enterprise backend, other than these people.
Yeah. The real big enterprise players.
And people only are used to Oracle, SAP, Microsoft. So I think
who are still equally bulky and painful to work with.
Yes,
on.
Exactly. But people still have no option, right? So nobody has really innovated on that in that area. And I think we're building a lot of products for that area. I think for us, that's the way to go.
Yeah, and even just last week, I think we heard from the latest Google I/O event where a Google Assistant is going to call up a restaurant and make a booking on its own.
Yes.
So do you think you'll have a opposite restaurant voice from your boss responding to it someday?
I think recently we were talking to our, we had a leadership meet, and we were talking about imagining POS's future in 5 years. And I think our CTO said that, hey, chuck everything. I think we should get into the business of making robots, because the biggest problem I see he actually crushed the entire thing. He said, screw software. I think the problem is people. Wow. Let's replace people. Everything else will get sorted. And we were like, whoa.
Now that we've sorted everything out, let's just take let's take the most painful thing out of the equation.
Yes.
Robot waiters and robot chefs.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Great. Thanks so much for doing this, Ashish. Where can people reach you on, let's say, Twitter?
I am on Twitter. I am at Tulsian, ATULSIAN.
All right. And they can check you out there, talk to you about all things back of house at the restaurant.
Absolutely.
And of course, you guys are based in Delhi.
We're based in Delhi. We have offices in Mumbai and Bangalore. So I keep shuttling.
And you have a growing tech team as well?
Yes.
One of the only folks in restaurant tech which is building deep tech
yes.
on the back end.
Not deep tech. I think the deep tech is again like food tech. I have no idea. I have no idea how many of SaaS people really understand deep tech or machine learning or AI. I think we are still a little away from that. I think we just realized we have few machine learning problems.
I think you'll only need to put that in your pitch deck if you go fundraising next.
Yeah, in that case, we are doing blockchain.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ashish. And thank you everyone for listening. Of course, since Amit's not here, I'm going to do the closing notes, which is please give us nice reviews on iTunes or wherever else you listen to your podcasts. Listen to this on ivmpodcast.com/Shunya1 and join our Slack channel because you can just ask for an invite on the website and we'll get you one. So continue the conversation there. Thank you.
Believe it or not, you stare at digital screens for 6 hours every single day. This makes your eyes age faster than the rest of your body. You're staring at screens as you're browsing through your Instagram or reading an ebook or even making a business proposal. What if your eyes could go to a natural spa and rejuvenate themselves? Made with the best ingredients sourced from nature, Setu IMAX is a modern health supplement that protects and rejuvenates your eyes from all that strain from digital screens. Setu IMAX is enriched with carotenoids like lutein and zeaxanthin, making it the perfect nutritional filter for the digital age. Check out www.setu.in to buy IMAX, and you can get up to 50% off if you use the promo code SETU50. Also, head to the Instagram page where we have a contest running for you. Share a screenshot of what you're watching on your phone right now, whether it's your Instagram feed or your favorite YouTube channel or anything else, and upload it to your stories using IMAX as a hashtag. That's IYEMAX. Also, make sure you tag Setu India, and we'll give you a chance to win a TV binging kit from us. Protect your eyes, or rather, screenproof them.
He bends down to test the warm water for his bath. He comes here to quench his thirst for a hot shower and some podcasts. You can witness how he enjoys having other people talk about cool stuff in his bathroom. Indeed, it helps him with his loneliness. You can find more of his pieces on ivmpodcast.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.